What is up, you guys, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be testing out 2 different products and giving my first impressions. So the products that I'm going to be testing out today are the ColourPop Nude Mood palette. It's not really new, but it's new to me. I've had my eye on it for a while. Here are the shades. It's a really beautiful sort of neutral, warm toned palette. I believe it retails for about $12. I got it when it was on sale at Ulta. I had like a 20% off coupon, so I was like, why not? I've had my eye on this. And then also the actual new L'Oreal Air Volume Mega Mascara. I have heard so much about this mascara and I just need to test it out for myself to see what I think, because I've heard so many great things about it from everyone else and I'm interested to see if it's gonna work for me. I can be a bit of a tough critic when it comes to mascara just because I'm particular with how I like my lashes to look, and I haven't found a drugstore mascara that accomplishes the look that I like. So I have high hopes for this one. So if you've had your eye on either of these products and want to see what my thoughts and first impressions are, keep watching. But before you jump in, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so that way you're notified every time I post. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so I went ahead and put on my face makeup and basically everything except for eyeshadow, mascara, and eyeliner. Let's go ahead and go in first. I'm going to prep my eyes with my Ride or Die CoverGirl lid lockup. I know I've talked about this in probably every single video, but it's just the best eyeshadow primer that I've been able to find, and it's from the drugstore. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and then we'll jump into the palette. I will say for this eyeshadow primer, you do have to set it down with an eyeshadow of some sort, just a base shadow, relatively quickly because it does get a little bit tacky, and for me it makes it a little bit more difficult to blend. So for the first shadow I'm going to go in to set down that primer, I'm going to go in with the shade here called Bluffin', and I'm just going to put that all over the lid, just because it can get, like I said, a little bit tacky. So I like to just have something that sets that into place, and then it's a perfect foundation for the rest of your eyeshadow. So I think the next shade I'm going to do to kind of give it a little bit of color is I'm going to go in with Bare to Wear, which is this right here, just to kind of put that all over my lid. So it has it's a nice pretty color. I didn't get a ton of payoff from the first swipe, so I am having to go back in to kind of build that up a little bit, but it's a really pretty color. I'll just have to see if the color payoff is enough. It's smooth. There is, if you'll see here, there is a decent amount of kickback, but again, you know, it's a cheaper palette, but I don't think that the formula itself is chalky or difficult to work with. It's definitely blending out, which, you know, I can deal with kick up on the pan if I'm able to blend it out on the eyes. So that doesn't really bother me. And I kind of actually just go in and pick up that kickback and just use it on the lid. Okay, so that's the first shade that I have. So I'm going to go in next with the shade All Natural, which is the shade right here. And I'm going to kind of take that all across the lid just to kind of deepen the look. Oh, that's a pretty color. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this on the other eye. So far, I'm liking the formula. this is shockingly, I've tried other ColourPop products, but this was the first ColourPop palette that I'm trying. I'd had my eye on it for a while, and then this was actually part of my Black Friday haul that I got. It took forever to come in, and so I'm just testing it out now. But so far, I'm really impressed. I obviously can see now why they're a cult favorite, especially for the price, that you get formulas that are like this. Like, look, it's building really nicely, as you can see there. So far, I'm really liking it. I think I'm gonna go in and then deepen up the little bit of the corner with this beautiful, the cocoa shade right here, just to kind of deepen up that corner area and the crease to give it a little bit more definition. It's a beautiful color, kind of going with very fall vibes today. It is a relatively warm, it's a January day in Pennsylvania today, but ooh, got a little bit of fly off there. It's definitely a pretty pigmented shade, I will say. I'm just kind of lightly dabbing this brush in there, and there's a lot of color payoff. So I'll say while the first shade that I picked didn't have that much payoff, this one is definitely making up for that. And it's not something where it won't build, so it's just a little bit of a lighter shade, that first shade that I tried, Bare to Wear, but you can definitely build it up to get that payoff that you're looking for. So next I'm going to go with a shade across my lid just to kind of blend it out. I'm going to go in with a combination of a Bare to Wear with Bare to Wear and All Natural, just to kind of add a little bit more color across the lid, blend that out a little bit. I'm going to add some dimension to it and test out some of these shimmer shades. I'm going to test them first with my fingers to see how creamy they are. They looked like they might be a little dusty. Yeah, so if you can see on my fingers. So this one looks a little more pigmented. This is the shade Put On Airs. Put On Airs. And then this is the shade Wink Wink. So as you can tell the difference, this shade here is a little bit thinner and the payoff's a little bit less, and this one is clearly, looks pretty buttery, but there is some significant, I guess, kickback, or I don't know if it's glitters. I think this might be, I'd have to look and see, this might be like a pressed glitter. I have to do a little bit more research. So we're gonna go in, I think maybe it's a relatively darker look. I think I'm gonna go in here with Put On Airs. Might as well use what's on my finger here. And wow. Okay. I literally just tapped my finger on my lid like I'm used to with other, you know, metallic shimmer shades. And oh wow, okay. That's what we're working with now. Wow, okay. That really surprised me. Holy moly, there is a lot of fallout, if you can see here. So I'll definitely have to brush that away. But wow. I'm still kind of shocked about the payoff there. Wow, I can't even believe it. I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe off my finger and brush away that fallout so that way it doesn't get stuck on my face here. There we go. Well, now I have some extra glitter underneath my eye, but there are worse things in the world, I'd say. So I'm gonna go in a little bit lighter with the next eye, and I've just barely dabbed into it, and that is how much is coming off. So thankfully less than before, but I mean, wow. You do not need a lot of that shade to have a major impact on the look that you are doing. Wow. I know I've probably, you know, I need like a wow counter or wow something here, but I've never used a shade that has had that type of payoff, especially being a glitter or a shimmer. And maybe it's just because I've never used ColourPop shadows before. Maybe that's how all of them are. But yeah, look at the color and the payoff of that shade. It's beautiful. Again, had some fallout under here, but nothing that a swipe of a fluffy brush won't get rid of. So it's leaving a little bit of extra glitter and shine underneath, but maybe I can go back through repowder, or in situations where I'm going to be using this palette, maybe I would do my eyes first. I like to do the rest of my face and then finish up with my eyes. But maybe this is just a palette where if I plan to use it, then I either have to use like some shadow shields, or I will just do my eyeshadow first. But man, I'm really liking the look. The colors are pretty beautiful. So to kind of make everything come together, I'm just gonna go in with a fluffy brush and go back in with All Natural and just kind of combine everything together and just make sure. Oh. Okay, well, when I went to kind of buff that out, some of the shadow came off. Do you see that? Like, I went to just, you know, lightly do what I do with most other shadows, and it kind of just fell off. So that is interesting for sure. Let me see if it does that on the other eye. Maybe I just went in a little too aggressive, but I kind of just went in with my like normal hand. Yeah, so this side didn't do it as much, I think, because the layer wasn't as thick, but it's definitely really taking away this metallic shade when I go over to do my normal blending to combine everything together. So that is one thing that I will note that I don't really like, because I kind of like everything to stay in place. Maybe what I'll have to do for my next application, since this is the first time I'm ever using this palette, maybe next time I will go in with a lighter hand and then also spray it. That could be where the issue is, that it's not actually setting down because it isn't really sticking to the base of the eyeshadow. So I will try that next time. Okay, so I went ahead and did my eyeliner, and I'm gonna jump into my first impressions of testing out the Air Volume Mega Mascara from L'Oreal. I got mine in the shade Black Brown. So I'm really interested to see how this is gonna work. Everyone has been raving about it, but I will say I can be kind of picky when it comes to mascaras, just because I have a very specific way I like my lashes to look. I like them to be lifted and not be clumpy. So many different people have been recommending this, so I'm excited to test it out for myself. But I'm just gonna go in and curl my lashes. I typically will curl my lashes before I use mascara. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna curl this side and not curl this side to see if there's a difference in how it performs. In a couple reviews I was watching, people didn't even curl their eyelashes, or at least not that they said that they did. So this side is now curled. I'm just gonna move my mirror in a little bit more. Sorry if that's in frame a little bit. But this is what the wand looks like. People said that this is kind of like a better version of the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. So we will see. Okay, so it feels, it's not a super wet consistency and it's not a super dry consistency. It's not giving me a lot of volume, even with having curled my lashes before putting it on. I'm gonna keep working at it. I'm not seeing any amazing results, but it was only the first coat, so we'll see with having as I'm talking about not being impressed, I'm getting more impressed. So it's not giving me like amazing volume, but I mean it is building. I'm interested to see if me curling the eyelashes prior to applying it really helped. It's actually looking pretty nice. I'm gonna see how a third coat does after it's had a little bit of time to dry, and see if it starts to like clump up at all. It's not too bad. Starting to get a little clumpy, and that's probably just me being picky. So I'm gonna go in and do my other eye without curling it to see how it works on that. Okay, so again, I'm not going in, I'm not curling these lashes like I normally would, just to see how it works on just my plain lashes. I actually really like the applicator. The wand is like a nice thickness, but it still seems to be gripping the lashes. I don't know if I just have really straight lashes, but I swear I saw people doing these videos and they're doing one coat of this and all of a sudden their lashes are voluminous and beautiful. And I'm like, do you have lash extensions? Like, what's going on here? Because me, after one coat, this looks like no more lashes. I would not, like, if I wasn't doing this for review, I probably would have done one coat and been like, okay, well, never using that again. But let's give it a few seconds to kind of dry before I go in with another coat. Okay, so let's go in again with a second coat, or what I would call a second coat. I don't know. I'm thinking that this is definitely one that I would recommend curling your lashes before using, because this is coat number 2 and it's like lengthening and it's coating the lashes, but I'm not getting any volume, at least not the type of volume I want to see. I was really hoping that I would finally find a mascara from the drugstore that was like worthy of all of the hype. Granted, I'm picky and it could just be me and how I apply it, but I just like, I don't know. They don't at least look on me how it's been looking on other people. So the claims for this mascara are that 84% said it feels light as air on lashes and it's supposed to give you mega volume. So I would say, I don't know, I don't consider this to be volume or, you know, lifting for me. I will say it does feel really light on the lashes, even though I had to put 3 very full coats of this mascara on my lashes. It does feel really light. So I will say that claim is true. So I went ahead and completed my look with a lip, and I'm gonna give my final thoughts. So I would absolutely recommend the ColourPop Nude Mood eyeshadow palette. They have some beautiful shades. It's a great beginner palette. And overall, I tested a majority of the colors in this palette and the formulas were great. Some you had to build up a little bit more. They weren't as pigmented, but they would build up and they didn't get patchy. So I would highly recommend this one. Moving on to the mascara. I'm torn on the mascara. I came in maybe with too high of hopes that this was going to be an amazing new mascara that was going to take over and be my holy grail, and it's not. I don't think it accomplishes the claims that it says it does. I think it does a really good job of lengthening, but I don't think it lifts at all. I think I'm gonna try and do a video because there's been a few drugstore products that have been hit or miss for me recently, and I think maybe I'm going to do a video of second impressions of, you know, makeup products, play with it a little bit, and then come back and give updated recommendations or thoughts on those products. So if you'd wanna see something like that, comment down below that you would. That's it for this video. I hope that my pretty honest reviews were helpful for you in deciding whether or not these are products that you might want to purchase for yourself. But I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in my next video.